Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, June 30th, 2018. My name is Rich, and joining me once again is Bijan. How you making out?
Good, man. Chilling, relaxing, eating some good food, being lazy.
It's summertime. Time to sit around and soak up some of that heat.
Yeah. Girlfriend and I are going to the beach next week, though, so I'm looking forward to that, getting some sun in my life, you know. Yeah, for people that don't know, I'm going to Japan in about 2.5 weeks, so I'm excited. You guys might not see me, and that for that week or so, but I'll be back.
That sounds cool. That sounds really fun.
Ooh, super psyched, man! 30th birthday.
I just get back from a little trip myself to Niagara Falls.
Dude, I saw those pictures on Instagram. That looks dope, man. So like, how'd you like it over there?
It was cool. It was really nice. I was away on business, so I was only there for a day. But I did get to see the falls. They were very cool. And the town's like really lit up. It's like a fair there. It was way more Vegas-y, I guess, than I was expecting.
I would have never in my life guessed that. So like, it was like lit up and like it was, I don't know how to describe it, like a tourist spot?
Yeah, like hardcore tourist spot. Like the Burger King's got a giant like Frankenstein climbing up the side of it and stuff. It was like, really, really strange.
That is so weird. Like I always just imagined like, places like that be like, I don't know, Yosemite or something where it's like, you're in the middle of the wilderness. You're going to be driving like for an hour in the middle of nowhere. But I guess it's not like that, huh?
Yeah, it's less Grand Canyon, more Vegas for sure.
Well, at least you got to see Niagara Falls. I mean, very few people get to see that stuff. I saw a picture. It was cool, man.
Yeah. So that's why we're a little bit late this week, so I apologize for that. But we are covering the ANW qualifiers from Philly, which were very, very cool.
It was good. It was really good. I enjoyed this episode. It was, in my opinion, when it comes to the city qualifiers, it's the new stories and the new competitors that really make or break the episode. And I gotta say, we had some high highs. I can't really complain about a whole lot of the new stories that we got. I feel like there's two where I'm like, the stories could have been told, but like a little bit shorter. But that's nitpicking. Like overall, really, really fun stuff. And the runs were spectacular.
Yeah, we had some good ones, and we have some very, very exciting new names to talk about this episode.
Oof.
Before we get into it, I do want to say a quick disclaimer here. Last week, we talked a bit about Isaac Caldiero, and some of the fans of Isaac out there didn't appreciate what we had to say too much.
Shocker!
Yeah, everybody's got opinions, right? And I get it, and I actually very much support not just buying into rumors, right? You want to hear all sides. So if you want to hear Isaac's side of the whole spiel, you can go to the official ANW podcast. He did an interview last week. It's very cool. Check it out. I do highly recommend that. And just know that although it hasn't really changed our opinion, we do not want to bring down the podcast. So we'll keep it to a minimum. We won't be, there won't be a whole lot of Isaac bashing going forward. We just want to make sure we expressed our honest opinions in the last episode, but we're not going to harp on it because we like to stay positive. We do like the show a lot.
Well, some of us like to stay positive, just saying. but for real, like, what's important is that I very much, respect there's two sides to every story. And I always, I always support that mentality. I come from a journalistic background, and I know there's always two sides to everything. So I very much welcome Isaac if he ever wants to, reveal more about what happened. As I said, there's always a story there. From the people that I know and we've talked to, even kind of like off the record, there's a whole lot more to it. And I just, so far, I honestly just believe them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's, reasoning for what he did. So, two sides to everything. I respect it. It's cool.
So let's get into the episode itself here. Before we get into the runs, though, let's take a look at the obstacles. We had 2 new obstacles and some returning favorites. The spinning bow ties. What did you make of that one?
Dude, that's one. Like, really, I want to hear your thoughts on it before I give it, because it's very weird. What are your thoughts, just first impressions? First
impression is that I don't particularly like it. just from a visual standpoint. I think I get why it's more difficult than it kind of first appears. It requires some weird movements. I could see people struggling on it that didn't have the technique down. So I don't know exactly what's going on there, but I can see that there's more to it than meets the eye.
I mean, not when it comes to this one, to be honest with you. I understand, like, it's an spinning axis, and you can only swing on like the bottom left corner of it. So the movement's kind of strange. That said, I mean, it's very simplistic in what you have to do, and visually, it's just not there, in my opinion. I kind of felt like this was a dud. I wouldn't say completely bad, but it's just there, you know? It's a second obstacle. It's whatever, honestly. But what I really was curious about was the other new one. What is it called? It was like lightning rod flashback. What the heck is that thing called, man?
It's lightning bolts.
Lightning bolts. Okay. That is very, very interesting. Just my first take looking at it, to be honest with you, Rich, like I was looking at it, I'm like, I give this, like, in terms of difficulty rating, like maybe a 5, most a 6, right? Just from a visual aspect. Because it's very, like, you know what to do. It's not a question mark. Like, it's very obvious what to do. It's not like you have to figure this obstacle out. But, dude, from what we saw, just the implementation of it, like, the difficulty rating is really, like, almost, like, close to an 8. This thing took out a large percentage of people that are very legit. And that was very shocking to me. It's just one of those obstacles where you just don't know about it until you're on it, I have a feeling. And that's very interesting to me. I was a big fan of it. It's weird. It's very weird. And sometimes that awkwardness works out.
Yeah, I thought that was a really strong addition, actually. I kind of underestimated it a bit, like, as you said, when I first saw it. But once I saw people on it, I realized it requires a combination of precision and power, right? So you have to make a small, precise movement, then you have to make a power move to get across further. And I like that. I kind of had to go bouncing back and forth. I really think that separates the very strong ninjas from the ones that are just very athletic.
Yeah, perfectly said, man, because that's the thing that I noticed, like, after the fact, because initial impressions, you know what to do, but seeing it implemented is way more deceptively difficult. And that's the precision, like you were harping on. You need to be so precise on this obstacle. Just explaining, like, when it comes to a salmon ladder, so to speak, because a salmon ladder is kind of like a vertical version of this, right? First time I did a salmon ladder, all I knew is I need to power myself upwards. And the precision came later. It's like, just hoist yourself up and again and again and again and hope for the best, right? And there's some precision, but it's a whole lot of just explosiveness. With this, you need to be incredibly precise in your movements. And not just that, it's if you're going like both hands forward, it's, you know, you're asking for trouble on that because you have to shoot yourself horizontally. So once you land, so really there's only one way to do it, which is doing the cross grip. And with the cross grip, the thing that ninjas always tell you about is precision is so much more difficult because you have to control both your right arm and your left arm in different ways in terms of muscle groups. That is the key, is really this obstacle is forcing you to use a cross grip. And yet you have to be precise with a small movement and then explosive in the next. And you have to do that multiple times. Very, very smart and very low key with it. So whoever made this thing, props to them, because this is one of those obstacles that never in my life would I have thought of this.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. So let's get a look at the first runs here. We've got Jason Avant, former NFL receiver, trained with Najee Richardson, so that gave him a big boost right off the bat. He looked pretty decent through and he beat the bow ties. I was not giving him enough credit, I think, in the beginning. He ended up going out on the last wingnut, but I would say typically when we see professional athletes, they don't quite do this well.
Especially not from his background and his size, right? Because, like, this guy, he didn't just use his power, which is what is the story with people from his background. He actually used agility and precision. You can tell he's been training and he's giving it his all. And that's what I like to see. Very few ninjas that go very far are his size. And I like seeing people from different I guess sizes and backgrounds, right? Because really, when you think of American Ninja Warrior, there's a certain, like, when it comes to both the male and the female athletes, they kind of hit a certain mold. Gotta say, like, a lot of them are starting to hit the certain mold. This guy stands out very drastically from the rest, even the bigger like ninjas, really, because I don't know, the giant John Alexis Jr., right? You put this guy next to John Alexis Jr., they look drastically different. So,
Right.
I don't know. It was very rewarding to see him, and he actually went far. So I really enjoyed him. How far did he go again, man? Because I'm kind of blanking on it. Like, did he move on?
Yeah, he went out on the last wingnut, so he didn't move on, but he did respectably for sure.
Oh, but he didn't make it. He isn't going to the finals?
I don't think so. Not at the last wingnut. I think he would have had to go further.
Yeah, that sucks, man, because I really want to see what that guy has to do. Like, I'm curious to see. He's taking this so seriously, so I have a very good feeling, we're going to see him next year. I'm very curious to see his growth.
Yeah, that would be very cool to see him come back. But next on the course was Stuart Warschauer, middle school principal. The kids there were going absolutely insane watching him.
I love this guy, man. Like, it's one thing to, like, we see teachers and everything, but now we've got principals, and that's quite rewarding because, like, say what you want about a teacher, when's the last time you saw a principal looking any bit young or athletic, man? Like, maybe it's where I'm at, but they're usually, like, older, kind of grumpy, just saying. But, you know, this guy kind of, like, you know, changes the mold of perception once again. And I felt his story, his video was very entertaining. You know, you see him working with, like, being engrossed with the children. And if I remember correctly, you said he was, you know, he was the principal of a school that was very impoverished, or the community, like, education was kind of like a problem over there, right?
Yeah. The school was struggling, and he came in and helped turn it around. Which made it that much more impressive, right? Like, the fact that he's a principal is cool and kind of different, but the fact that he's, you know, worked with a school that was struggling and helped turn that around, that's very cool. Yeah,
that completely, like, that's so much more, you know? He's affected so many people's lives, and you see it in the children, and I just love that. Like, instantly you're rooting for this guy. And not to mention, you know, good-looking guy, very entertaining, very charismatic. I mean, all around, this guy's a winner.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did go out on the second set of handles on the bow tie, so he wasn't able to progress. He just needed more momentum. He just completely missed in the end.
Yeah, nothing wrong with going out on a second obstacle, but
you know, it's respectable.
but for real, you know, I'm very glad that they showed him. It's one of those things where sometimes you look back and you're like, oh, they could have shortened that down because, you know, he didn't go as far. But really, I really enjoyed his video, so I can't complain.
If it's not going to be someone going far on the course, at least entertain us, and it definitely was that. So
yeah.
We had next Paul Ruggieri, gymnast. Yeah.
That's all you got to say about it.
Yeah. How did he catch himself on that broken bridge? Like, how did he manage to not fall there and manage to get back on the platform? It was the craziest fall I've seen. Like, how did he manage to do that?
I guess. I mean, I would be more, I guess, shocked by it if I didn't see quite a few, like, really epic, like, catches on that broken bridge this episode. So, you know, looking back, it was whatever to me.
He did end up going out on the lightning bolts on the first hop in the end, but yeah, a decent attempt for sure, and a very nice save.
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't care for the video. It's whatever.
Moving on, we had Helen Lin, the ice swimmer, who was super excited, brought lots of energy to the course.
First, we got to talk about what she does. Like, what? Okay, so in Tough Mudder, right, you got to jump in an ice pit, and it's just maybe the length of a trailer or something like that. In the instant you jump into this, like, ice water, like, you can't breathe. And you, like, your muscles tense up and you can't move, and you just gotta force your brain, or your brain has to force your body to just, like, get through it, right? And you can barely move in this thing. This woman swims in that kind of stuff, probably even colder. How is that even possible? How does this woman not have hypothermia or something?
It's another day at the beach, man. I swim in the North Atlantic. Like, we grew up doing that here. That's nothing. That's just whatever.
Y'all weirdos, man. I don't know. California all day, man.
I'm just kidding. It is super impressive, especially swimming a mile in it. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Honestly, that video, her feats in that, outdoes anything she's ever going to do on American Ninja Warrior. I'm just saying. That's some crazy stuff.
She did end up going out on the broken bridge, but she was very entertaining and a very interesting story, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, she was super happy. I remember her smile, and I remember her swimming in the ice, and that's about it.
Enough. Yeah. What about this next guy, Chad Riddle, a kindergarten teacher who competed on ANW6? It's taken him 4 seasons to get back.
Okay.
Really?
So, this is the thing. I don't blame him, but I feel like at a certain point there's an overload of the same story going on, in particular with this episode when it comes to educators, and it's not his fault, but I felt like we were one too many, and his story was good, but I felt like it could have been shorter.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I can see that. I guess in
it
the
might
end,
just be my bias, man. Like, I was just like, didn't I just see an educator?
I did kind of feel that way, but he hit the buzzer, right? This guy hadn't been back in years. He was crying. He was overwhelmed. I just appreciate that kind of a passion, and he did really well on the course. So I thought it was a good run.
Yeah, it's hard because I do really enjoy runs like that where you see the passion. And I thought his run was very entertaining. He really did give it his all. So in terms of the run and everything, great stuff. Video, I don't know if we needed it, but overall, I'm very happy for the guy. I am sure he is so ecstatic that not only is he going to the finals, but he was shown and he was able to share a story.
Yeah. After him, we had Ryan Carson, a physical therapist and an amputee from jumping a fence. He lost the lower portion of his leg from jumping over a fence.
First of all, that sounds horrific. I mean, just thinking about that, he said he got impaled, his leg.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what that was like. This poor guy, man. But, I very much respect the fact that he didn't let that get to him or take him down, and he just got right back onto it and continued his athletic career in different avenues. I don't know if they said he still boxes or not. I know he trains it, but one way or another, that's not going to, I guess, detract from his skills. And talk about a sport that's so difficult to do on one leg. I mean, he's going on American Ninja Warrior. I was like, yeah, a lot of these obstacles are upper body, but hey, we got a broken bridge coming up, man. That's
I know. That's what I think. Everyone was eyeing that broken bridge. I don't know, man. That's the one that's going to be tricky. Dude. And when he did that, I have never been more excited to see someone get past the third obstacle as that guy getting over the broken bridge.
Yeah, man, I audibly screamed. I was so happy for him. It was really cool. It's just so balance obstacles are very difficult. We've seen it time and time again in the show, but to do that with an amputated leg, and of course, he had the I kind of forget what they call it, but the substitute.
Prosthetic?
I don't know what is that thing? Prosthetic, sure. He had that, but still, there's still aim and everything, and I mean, I'm not an amputee, but I have to imagine that's very difficult to do. So all the props in the world to that guy, and the fact that he was able to continue moving forward. I mean, I was rooting for him all the way, and in many ways, he represents, a demographic that just isn't represented enough in sports in general, right? So I'm rooting for the guy. Maybe he can be somebody that really grows in the sport and becomes something to really behold.
Right. We've seen a few very strong ninjas before AT3 in previous seasons. Mm-hmm. But this guy looked like a whole other level. He looked very comfortable on the course. I actually thought he might do the whole thing. And I couldn't even imagine the explosion that would happen around there if he managed to get up that warped wall.
Yeah.
He did go out on the first lightning bolt, but he shows a lot of promise for sure.
Yeah, that's the key. Is he's got promise. I don't know if he made it to the finals. We'll have to look back at that, but definitely I see him training more and more, and I definitely can see him coming back in a sophomore year and really take on the course and perhaps even get like finish stage one and so on. And that is the key where he can become somebody incredibly huge, a ninja that we're all going to remember and really root for.
After Ryan, we had a fast forward of one of our favorite ninjas, Jamie Ron, who made an attempt at the Mega Wall, but came up just short. He got his fingertips on the top, but wasn't quite able to do it. I thought for sure he had it. He was one of the guys I thought Philly might have a few Mega Wall finishers. It really seemed like it was primed for it. And Jamie was one of those ones I expected, but just wasn't quite there.
Yeah, I would have completely bet that Jamie would have done it, you know. Shocked me that he didn't, but who knows? I mean, unfortunately, we didn't get to see his full run, but I have a feeling we're going to see him in the finals, like, you know, full story and everything. Yeah, I don't know what much to say about it. They didn't show a lot.
Right. Yeah, it was just a fast forward. But who they didn't fast forward was Casey Rothschild, who is a 20-year-old rookie with a background in circus arts, pole vaulting, and track. And oh my God,
well,
this girl is amazing.
Absolutely fantastic. But just the video alone, I was telling, you know, people I was watching with, I'm like, this woman, I don't know anything about her, but from what I'm seeing, she has the background to be one of the top ninjas in the world. Her control, her background of, like, you know, control body, her precision, her explosiveness from, like, just like everything she's did, like, perfectly transitions into American Ninja Warrior. Like, her athletic talent alone is amazing. So if she, like, trains with all of this, like, trains American Ninja Warrior with this athletic background, nothing can stop this woman. And we've seen that she is training and has won a few competitions. So
training with Drew Dressel at that.
Yeah.
And she's 5'8". Like,
so,
she has the entire thing stacked up in her favor. Like, she is absolutely primed to take over the sport.
And she's young, man. Like, she is young. Imagine her at, like, 25. Like, this woman is only going to get better and better. So just alone going into this, I was really, like, had my eyes on her. But man, I mean, why don't you go into what we saw from this run?
Well, we saw someone take down the course like a professional. Like, she's been doing it for a very long time, which she probably has been. She makes a one-handed save on the wing nut that was absolutely phenomenal.
So epic.
She ends up at the warped wall, and I thought because she had cruised through everything so smoothly, I thought she was just going to breeze up that as well. She did struggle on it, and it was epic to watch because she missed it once. She misses it twice, and Drew was kind of staying in the shadows. He kind of staying off to the side. I think he didn't want to detract from her or maybe distract her. But when she missed it the second time, he came out and spoke to her and kind of calmed her down, told her to just do her thing. And she does it. And I saw so many comments on Twitter, and it made me feel less alone in the world for screaming at that moment. Like, everybody was saying they probably disturbed their neighbors at that point because it was amazing to watch. So cool. So excited for her.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen a rookie woman, make it up the warped wall? It's a rare sight, and not just that, she's the youngest to ever do it in the sport. So we saw history, but let alone the run itself had so much pathos going on, so much drama, and the fact that, you know, she was able to save herself on one of the hardest obstacles in the sport, the wing nuts, with one arm. Or one hand, I should say, is showing off her grip strength and her passion. A lot of people would have fallen at that moment. I mean, I sure as heck would. And the fact that she kept pushing through, kept going through, and just forcing her way up that warped wall, because, like, how many times, Rich, have we seen it where really the first try on the warped wall, you give it your all, but if you don't make it, every time you go up that again, the likelihood of you getting up it is attracted more and more. Like, I could probably count on my one hand the number of times I've seen somebody get up the warped wall on their third try, because at that point your legs and everything are just spent. She
Yeah.
gutted it out, man. And I was just so incredibly happy for her. You could see the elation on her face. History was made. It couldn't happen to a nicer human being. And with her background, and now she has that confidence knowing that she can get up that warped wall. I mean, I am very, very interested in seeing what she has to bring, not only this year, but the years up, like coming up. And no surprise to anybody. Congratulations. She is the Athletically Profound Runner of the Night. Congratulations. Amazing stuff.
Yes, Casey absolutely earned it. Fantastic run, as we said. After hers, I thought that's going to be a hard act to follow, but they managed to do it. Chris Wilczewski was up next with a very, very interesting story, a very compelling run, and I felt terrible for not knowing this. Like, we are submerged in this community. How did we miss this story?
I don't know, man, but this video really affected me. It's something that the way it was told, sometimes you hear stories and I don't know if it's a believability factor or what it is, maybe the presentation, but the way he told it and gave the details and you know, you could see his emotion, I very much could envision what happened, and I can see it there, and I felt the fear and everything he went through, and it was so incredibly powerful. Like, just 3 minutes, in the time of like 3 minutes, he was able to convey so incredibly much what happened and what should have been, like, what must have been one of the scariest moments in anybody's lives.
Yeah, I have to say, when they said, you know, coming up, and they were kind of teasing it prior to the segment, I was a little iffy on it. I was like, oh, this seems like they're gonna milk something here. It reeked of one of those moments where you're like, oh, it's a little overblown. But it definitely didn't feel that way when you watched the segment. You felt like you were there. You felt his trauma, really. Like, he was suffered from, for those that don't remember offhand, if you didn't see the episode or whatever, he was swept into the water of Lake Michigan, and he spent 30 minutes in the water basically trying to avoid drowning. Like, he was very, very swept away with the current and the waves and everything else. Ended up being saved by a surfer in the end, but suffered some PTSD as a result.
30 minutes, man.
Yeah, that is a very, very long time.
I mean, just for everybody at home, this entire episode to this point that you've heard us, it hasn't even been 30 minutes. I mean, just imagine you're holding on for your dear life, and it's not in like some regular like little lake that's like, you know, steady. Like these are violent ocean waves pulling you further and further out, getting smacked by waves over and over again. I mean, I literally can't even imagine what that was like. But I gotta say, his will to survive. I mean, I don't even know what to say, man.
But when we look at his run, it was the most exciting run I've ever seen from Chris Wilczewski by far.
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
He was so passionate, so driven, and just absolutely crushing the course. Like, he dominated this course in a way I haven't seen him do before. And when he beat that mega wall, it was epic. It was like a whole other level. Like, I couldn't believe, after everything else we saw, that he was able to beat the mega wall on his return. Like, that was just amazing. Like you almost couldn't believe it. If you saw it written in a book, you'd be like, oh, that's a little far-fetched. Like, really, this first time back, this is what he does?
Yeah.
But he did. We saw it. It was so, so good.
I mean, it was the perfect, and like, I can't even say ending, right? But perfect for this night conclusion to such a triumphant story of, you know, we see in many ways the hero's journey, right? Like, he literally is drowning, like coming from death and overcoming everything. But seriously, like, so much happened, and you've gone on this journey with him in the span of a very, very short matter of minutes. But yet you're rooting for the guy, and it's encapsulated so much more because for years we've seen him. He's not a newbie. Like, he's somebody that we've seen grow through the sport and change other people's lives, being a gym owner and a mentor for so many others. So there's so many layers to the story, and the fact that he was able to, push himself through the trauma and get through and succeed in something that he's dedicated his entire life to doing, and the fact that he not only did he beat it, but he triumphed over an obstacle that very few people have done in the Mega Wall. I mean, I was just so happy for him, and it's something that where, sometimes people accuse shows, not even American Ninja Warrior, but just shows in general, reality shows, of, fabricating stories, or having that barrier where it doesn't seem genuine. Nothing about this seemed ingenuine or dishonest. Like, it was such a raw, real story that, it's almost impossible not to be connected there with him. And I was just so happy for him. And, yeah, I don't know. That video just so impressed me. I mean, I'll make it now, guys. This, Chris Wilczewski, congratulations. You win the visually profound video of the night. How about that? But seriously, it was such an amazing thing, and I'm so honored and happy to have been witness to it. And just, I wish him everything, all the success in the world.
Yes, Chris also was the driving factor behind the National Ninja League, so he's pushing forward the sport in addition to everything else and helping, like you said, boost up so many other ninjas. So very happy to see him get some moment in the sun and a chance to demonstrate how great of a ninja he really is. We had a fast forward of one of our favorite ninjas after that. We had James McGrath, now without braces. Congratulations, James, on getting rid of those braces.
I'm so used to him with braces. It was weird. I was so happy for him. Like, it's gonna take me a minute to get used to that, man. Like,
yeah. He just missed the Mega Wall. I actually thought he was one of the other ones I thought for sure would be able to get it.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He's taller, short. But
yeah.
Oh man, I have to imagine next year he's got that. He has got that. Very happy to see him get through to the finals. He's somebody every year. If you guys don't know his talent, I mean, what are you doing, guys? This guy, I could see him getting, like, he's one of the few that I can see winning the show. Let's just say that.
Yeah. If you'd like to hear more from James, you can scroll back about 5 episodes or so. He had joined us on the podcast.
Yeah, dope dude.
After him, we saw Anthony DeFranco. He was one of the fastest ninjas in ANW8 and 9 with a big Italian family, running for his sister who had lost her eye. And did you think he was going to go far when you saw that segment?
Well, first, yes, I did. I thought they were building him up because we were going to see another, fastest run, which I appreciate, the fact that it's kind of that rope-a-dope, so to speak. But
right.
I gotta say, it's this episode, unfortunately, had 2 storylines where we see a returning ninja, and I kind of feel like they just have to find a way to bring a story in, and they find not a story about him, but a tragic thing in his life, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I felt like this was so not needed. Just, I don't know. Call me a horrible human being, but I don't think we needed that video of him. But what was very interesting is the most, engrossing part of it is the fact that they did have the stat of him being so fast. So that's what I was looking forward to. And good on them, because that shocked me, bro.
For once, I usually fall for those things. This time I felt like, they're building it up a little too much. I did find it odd that they included his sister, because that was a little unusual. Typically, the whole focus would have been on his speed. So that did trip me up a little bit. So I was questioning myself, but in the end, he did fall on the 3rd step. It's a simple slip up. Could happen to anyone. Unfortunately for Anthony, it was him this night.
Yeah, they got me. I'm shocked they didn't get you, bro, but hey, good on you.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally was like, what? Like, I was shocked.
Yeah. After him, we had Nicholas Cupper, who has an adopted daughter with spina bifida. His run, to me, the most notable thing on his run was probably the fact that he basically walked over the bridge. For that perspective alone, I was glad I saw his run, because he took such a weird leisurely pace over the broken bridge.
Yeah, it was interesting.
But
I
other
don't
than
know what
that,
to say about that.
yeah. I mean, he looked tired after the wing nuts and he ended up falling in the first lightning bolt. Overall, it's one of those runs that it was kind of iffy on. I think one of the ones that you would probably were referring to earlier. But again, just his technique on the broken bridge made it okay for me that they showed it. But I don't know. It was not the strongest run of the night.
No, I mean, he got far, so you can't knock that. But in terms of like an entertainment value of the run, it just didn't connect to me. I don't know how other people feel,
Right.
but sometimes you can connect to the run and sometimes you can't. This one, I was kind of glazed over.
Did not glaze over the next one. We had Michelle Warnke take the course.
Yes.
She was the next female ninja to attempt that mega wall, and I was a little curious. I wasn't sure, but she wasn't quite able to get it. She got up 16 and a half feet on that thing, which is a good attempt, and then went up the regular wall. She looked very strong on the course, probably stronger than we've seen her before.
No, she's been like, this run was more impressive than I've seen her in a very, very long time. She trains like crazy, so I think she's one of the few ninjas that actually could get up that mega wall, maybe next year, if she reaches that point, you know? But I think she will. And what was very interesting to me is the fact that she looked very strong in one of the toughest obstacles out there. I mean, that lightning bolt, whatever you call it thing, was taking out everybody, but she was able to get through it. And that was what, was really perking up my eyes. We all know she's very, very strong, in particular when it comes to the upper body. But I was very, very happy for her. I was shocked they said she hasn't hit a buzzer in like a few years. I mean, I don't know why. I just assume she always hits the buzzer, man.
Right.
But very happy for her. And yeah, she's definitely like, hey, I'm still here, guys. Still here.
Yeah, it was her first buzzer since ANW6. Now, she did get up the warped wall last year in the finals and made it up the salmon ladder, but she was in such a strong field that it wasn't far enough to actually move on to Vegas. So she didn't actually move on to Vegas last year in spite of making it that far.
Yeah, that was I remember that. That was crazy.
But next up, we were joined mid-run with Darian Bennett, a rookie holding down 3 jobs. He kept shifting his grip as he was making his way through, ended up falling on the second lightning bolt. I wasn't quite sure what to make of his run. Like, typically when they join someone mid-run, it's because they want to show something very special or interesting in the second half of their run, but maybe they didn't have enough story or other ways to squeeze it in. I didn't really see anything there that they were trying to showcase.
I remembered nothing from this run, so
that says a lot, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It just probably not. It might have been the placement in the episode. I remember nothing from this.
Yeah, it's a tough spot, I guess. By that point, you've seen a few really epic runs. You just watched Michelle Warnke go through. You got to catch your attention with something a little better, I think.
Yeah.
We did have a fast forward of a couple of ninjas after this. Cara Polillo, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, from the Ninja Babes podcast, one of my favorite podcasts.
Go
She
represent
going
podcasters, man. Kicking butt.
Yeah. It's a good season this year. We had, she ended up going on the lightning bolts, which is very deep into the course. Very excited for her, and she did move on to the finals, so we'll get to see her again. Yeah,
shout out to Ninja Bay's podcast, and shout out to Cara, man. I mean, she looked very strong on the course. It wasn't something where, she was trying to figure it out. Like, she knew what she was doing. Very poised. I was very, very happy to see her on the course. I really wish, maybe I'm biased, but this is something where it's like, hey, show off what she does. Like, it's not that she just podcasts. Like, she's the stuff she's doing connects with a demographic that is very important to the sport and growing, and I just really want to see more of them showing off what she has to give. Maybe they'll show her in the finals, but yeah. I mean, she's somebody that you can really see becoming a force to be reckoned with in not only this season but later seasons. I mean, this is her rookie year and she's looking that good. I mean, man, that's some cool stuff. Not to mention, I mean, out of all of the regions, this has to be the strongest region of women. So very, very happy for her. She looked very strong.
We also had a fast forward of Dave Kavanaugh, who ended up missing the mega wall, but finished with one of the fastest times of the night. So good for Dave. Good to see him doing well. After that, we had Alyssa Beard. Speaking of looking good, she is looking strong and confident. She ended up missing the mega wall, but she was able to get up the regular one, of course. And that gave us 3 female finishers for the night. That's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, first of all, well, I think we kind of skipped Alyssa's mom. I don't know if she's later on, but I'm pretty sure she's not. Alyssa's mom ran the course earlier this episode.
Hey, how did we do that?
I don't know, Rich. You're the one with the notes.
This is the second time I've done that.
But okay, I gotta say, Alyssa's mom, the video she was training and her on the course, amazing. This woman looks so freaking strong, and I want to see Mama Beard back. By the way, shout out to Akbar for that awesome nickname. Like, typically, I make fun of some of these nicknames that he gives, like Big Dog Ninjas. Terrible. But, yo, Mama Beard, simple, but dope. Absolutely dope. And I gotta say, she looked fantastic. I was so amazed by the fact that she was able to get onto that. The second obstacle, I'm sorry guys, I'm not good with obstacle names. But that second obstacle, she got through that transition. You know, some people maybe speaking right now might not have been able to do that. So, good on her. And, you know, I wanted to see her go so much further. Like, how amazing would that be, bro? Like, the strongest woman in American Ninja Warrior right now with Alyssa Beard, and then her mother starts killing the course as well. Like, how freaking dope would that have been? But, I want to see this woman run next year, the year after that, and the year after that.
Yeah, she was very good. To rewind back to her run, that was Daria Beard. She's 55, works on a horse farm. She looked really strong. She missed the dismount on the bow ties, that they're called the spinning bow ties. But that was a heck of a catch on that first jump. She looked really strong. And at 55, and not, from what I could gather, a lifelong athlete. I think Alyssa got her into this, in addition to just being, you know, working on a farm. Of course, she was strong from that. But yeah, very, very cool. I don't think they were the only mother and daughter. I'm pretty sure Jessie Graff has been getting her mother into the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of become a thing, I guess. So, it'd be really interesting to see it go.
Who's next? Megan Martin? Like, Megan Martin, where your mama at? Like, let's make this happen. Triple threat. But, hey, good point. And I'm excited, another demographic that I'd love to see represented. It's awesome. That said, with respect to Alyssa Beard, right, and her run, I mean, once again, she's showing off why she's so strong, why she's so poised. She really takes pressure well. You know, she never looks like, she's nervous or anything like that. I don't know. She doesn't look any bit slower or anything else. She's looking very strong. I'm kind of glad they're not going full on into that whole music video teacher thing. But full on, they're representing her well. And that's the important thing, because she's so strong and she deserves everything, the attention she's getting. So I'm really glad in the way they're showing her off right now. And really happy for her. I mean, bro, did you think she had that mega wall? I kind of was thinking, I'm like, if anybody's going to do it, it's Alyssa Beard.
I don't know why I didn't really think that she would get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just jaded at this point. There's been so many misses, but
yeah.
No, I wasn't really looking to Alyssa to do it for some reason, but that's on me. I mean, she's perfectly capable of doing it, probably more capable than most. So,
hey, here's the thing though. Like, I don't know if you caught this, but like, just looking at her and everything, what height would you think she is? Like, how tall do you think she is?
I don't think she's overly tall, like 5'2" or 3.
What? No, man. I don't know why. I always saw her as like being like around 5'8", 5'10", somewhere around there.
Oh, jeez, I don't think so.
Like, just her build or whatever. Just, I don't know. She always came off tall to me. She's 5'4", which isn't short, but it's like, I don't know why I always envision her as being one of the taller women athletes. But she's right there in the middle, that I don't know why that just surprised me. And I'm like, wow, for some reason, really, honestly, that just makes it all more impressive, the stuff that she does.
Oh, and she was able to catch the apple despite the fact that Akbar threw it. He actually got into to reach her after that pitch that went wild on him at the baseball game.
Damn, they were throwing hardcore shade at Akbar this episode, man. They were not going to let him that down.
Oh, poor guy. That is one of those things that's like, nope, I don't think I'd ever do that because that's exactly how it would go.
I don't know. I'm glad he threw it towards her. I don't know. The apple, whatever.
I almost wish he wouldn't. It makes me a little nervous because it would be easy for her to like stretch and reach and fall off of there if she wasn't paying attention.
Oh no. Let's not ever let that happen. Now I'm envisioning like the top of a mega wall and something happening. Like, oh, let's just move on. Oh no.
After that, we saw a fast forward of Mike Bernardo, who missed the mega wall but was able to beat the regular wall and able to beat the course. So
I love this guy's energy.
See.
I want to see a full run of Mike Bernardo. He's so fun. Like he just, I don't know. This guy is like, wrestler. He envisions that persona. And I have a feeling like in terms of like just overall runs, this guy is somebody fun to watch. Just give him like, do one of those things where he's like halfway through the run and he's like going crazy. I think it'd be very fun.
That brought us to the last run of the night. Najee Richardson, the Phoenix.
Okay, we got to talk about this video. Like, there's some times where there's ninjas that are doing very, very well. Like there's some of the Daniel Gills, Drew Dreshel, whatever, right? Like the top ninjas, and he's one of them, obviously. But they don't really have a story to tell. But they really want to, give a story. This was the most forced, brutal, unneeded story I've seen in a very, very long time. It's literally him going to this random steak shop and him showing us around Philadelphia. Like, come on, man. Like, Rich, like, I don't know, man. Like, I was, like, my eyes were glazing over. I'm like, why am I watching this?
Yeah, it's funny because one of the other podcasts I listen to is the Monday Morning Podcast, Bill Burr's podcast, and he was talking about Philly not that long ago, and he said anytime they mention Philly on anything, they gotta run through the cheesesteaks, they gotta go through Rocky and the Liberty Bell, and he starts listening, and everything he listed was what they showed for the Najee segment, and it was making me laugh so much. So it was entertaining from that perspective. I was like, okay, so next is going to be, and there it was. That was the next thing they showed.
Man, I don't know. Like, what's next? Like, I'm from San Diego. I'm going to be surfing and, like, going to the San Diego Zoo or something. Like, there's more stuff to tell, guys. I don't know. It wasn't about Najee at all. Whatever. But the run itself, I got to say, for all the much unneededness that we saw from the video, the run itself was way more engrossing than I could have even imagined, man.
Right.
Like, it sucks that it was due to, like, a hardcore cramp and, like, slight injury. Like, he was hurting. But, man, it's more entertaining, to be honest with you, than, just him going through the course. Like, I was with him the entire run, and, talk about the worst place to have a cramp. Oh, boy.
He seems to get, like, that's the second time we've seen that from him. Remember on
Ninja vs. Ninja, right?
Ninja vs. Ninja, he had the same problem. He had some leg cramps going up the zigzag climb.
Najee, bro, stretch, man. Stretch.
Something's going on there. But he was able to make it through. Like you said, it made it so much more compelling because I was worried about him the whole way.
Yeah.
And I honestly, as much as I thought he had it for a joke when the run started, I really didn't think he was going to get the mega wall by the end.
Well, here's the thing. I know he's the Phoenix and, you got to go for the mega wall and everything. I was really worried for him, like, throughout the episode because I knew the cramp and I know what a cramp's like and how terrible that is. But not just that. I mean, when you cramp, especially on your calves, if it is what I think it is, that muscle is going to be so incredibly tight. If you explode on that muscle and really push it, you can rip that muscle from the bone. I mean, I was worried. This guy not only go exploding up that mega wall, but if he were to miss it and fall from a great distance and land on that, we could have been seeing a very, very bad injury. So I was like on eggshells the whole time, worried for him. I really didn't doubt he can get through it. Like, this course is very upper body and very, like gymnastics based. Like, I didn't doubt for a second a lot of these obstacles he can do in his sleep. But I was very, very worried for him if he was going to go through that mega wall. And I'm very happy he got through it, and I'm sure he is too. I don't know, man. Whatever is causing it, please stretch, do whatever you need to do some yoga. Just that scares me, and I'm very happy he's okay.
Yes, for sure. So that wrapped up the night, and then they showed the previews for the next episode. Did you happen to watch those?
Yeah, like I can't wait for next week.
You're gonna have to wait 2 weeks.
I should mention. Man, good point.
Yeah, they're actually skipping next week. There won't be an episode. They're gonna replay. I don't know if it's the same on every station, but here they're gonna be replaying the LA qualifiers. Actually,
hey, go watch that, guys. 30 minutes in, you might see somebody.
But the preview for next week, for those that didn't see it, they started showing it, reminding us of Michael Stanger and his wife, Anadina, who had been in a wheelchair several seasons ago. Michael ran the course, actually was able to beat the course in qualifying. Absolutely one of the most engrossing runs we've ever seen. And then last year, we saw her actually standing on the sidelines cheering him on, which was amazing to see. And then in the previews, this time they show her running the course.
Yeah.
And I can't even pretend. I was crying. It was the first time I've ever cried at a preview for anything. It was absolutely mind-blowing that she's going to run the course.
I mean, it's a evolving storyline that we've seen year after year, right? It's something where we feel really connected because we saw them at the worst, and her going through it. And it wasn't just like she couldn't walk or anything. It's that she could have died, and I think they even said she only had so much to live. So it's a storyline that we've seen more evolve over time, and especially last year where we see her getting up and standing, and we're connected with them. It's one of those storylines that are real. You see it, you feel it, and you, in many ways, you share that pain. Obviously, I can't be in her shoes, but I so empathize with them. So just seeing her at the starting line itself is something that is going to be a very, very powerful emotional moment, not only for her, not only for her family, but for everybody that's been watching year after year. It's one of those very, very rare moments where they say every ounce, any part of the obstacle she gets through is a win in itself. It's one of those rare moments where it's absolutely, positively true. And I can't wait to see what she has. If she gets through the first obstacle, man, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I can't. If she gets through a few steps, I'm going to be just, bouncing out of my seat. So if she can complete all of the steps, that's just absolutely phenomenal. So we have that to look forward to in a couple of weeks in the Minneapolis qualifiers, which is the last qualifiers before we move on to the city finals.
Yeah. Go Joe Morawski. He's the last part of my fantasy league that's left. And speaking of fantasy league, I am announcing right now on the podcast, man, we should next week, because we don't have a an episode to cover, we should go through our teams for American Ninja Warrior or ANW Fantasy, and also maybe preview what we're expecting, for the rest of the season. What do you think, man?
Oh yeah, we have lots to talk about for sure. We'll take a look at where we're at so far. We'll talk about the Stage 5 Ninja Awards, which will be coming up at the end of the season. We'll give you a little preview of that. All kinds to talk about. We will definitely be back next week with another episode.
A lot to cover.
Yep. And please make sure that you subscribe and rate us on Apple Podcasts. Ninja Warrior is in full swing, obviously, and we need you to spread the word that we are here.
Yeah, shout out to Lindsay Onko and Caleb Caden. Thank you for the 5 stars and also the very, very nice words you guys wrote to us. Your guys' love and support is really what drives me to continue every single week, and I know Rich feels the same way. Once again, hit those reviews, guys. It's the ones that really give us word out to the rest of the world that we're here and we're doing our thing. That's it.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are, share out our posts or make your own. You can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan151. This week on my Instagram, you can see me eating crickets. So, fun times there. And, yeah.
All right. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a great week.
Peace and love, y'all.